Marc Cucurella.
Madrid may have just found their first Marcelo-like left-back profile since the end of the Marcelo era, Marc Cucurella. And that should worry the rest of Europe. Think about that for a second. Nobody is saying Cucurella is Marcelo. Come on now. Marcelo is a Real Madrid legend, one of the greatest left-backs football has ever seen. But the profile? The energy, the constant availability for the ball, the balance between attack and control. Those are qualities Madrid have been searching for ever since Marcelo faded from the team. What followed was a roving door of solutions. Ferland Mendy brought defensive security but struggled with injuries. Fran Garcia brought intensity but often left space behind him. Alvaro Carreras showed promise, but was forced into a huge workload before fully developing. The result? A Madrid side packed with superstars, yet increasingly vulnerable in transition and easier to target down the left side in the biggest matches. But now, José Mourinho has identified his answer, Marc Cucurella. A European champion with Spain, a La Masia graduate, a Premier League proven defender trusted in multiple roles, and the same player UEFA praised after his Champions League battle with Lamine Yamal, highlighting his positioning, anticipation, pressing intensity, and defensive discipline. And the scary part? This may not just be about Cucurella. With Bernardo Silva, Denzel Dumfries, and Ibrahima Konate also part of the Mourinho rebuild, Real Madrid appear to be building something they have lacked for years: control, structure, balance. So is Marc Cucurella simply another left-back signing, or is he the piece Mourinho believes can transform the entire left side of Real Madrid? This is why Marc Cucurella's move to Real Madrid might be much bigger than anyone realizes. Madrid fans already know this. Real didn't move for Marc Cucurella because they simply needed another left-back. They moved because the entire left side of their team had become one of the most readable tactical problems in their structure. And that's the detail most people are glossing over. On paper, the defensive numbers looked fine. 35 goals conceded in La Liga, not a crisis, but the football doesn't live in final tallies. The real story is where the danger kept coming from, how easily opponents found the same spaces, and why the same defensive patterns kept showing up in the biggest matches. Madrid's left side wasn't just leaking, it was leaking predictably. The problem was never just the player standing at left back, it was the whole mechanism. Push too high and the space behind opens. Winger stays forward, the central midfielder is covering too much ground. Centre back steps across, the middle opens. Lose the ball and that entire flank unravels in 2 or 3 passes. That's not one player's mistake, that's a structural issue. And that is exactly the kind of thing Mourinho notices before anyone else even opens a laptop. Mourinho has never built teams around possession stats or highlight reel attacks. He looks at what happens when the ball is lost. The fullback 5 yards too high, the midfielder who can't cover the channel, the centre-back defending wide when he shouldn't be. He builds from those moments backwards. So, let's look at what Real actually had. Ferland Mendy, at his best, is exactly what a Mourinho defense needs. Strong in duels, conservative, reliable in isolated defending. The problem is availability. You cannot build a defensive system around a player who is constantly battling injuries and rhythm problems. For Mourinho, reliability isn't a bonus feature, it's the foundation. Fran Garcia offers energy, speed, natural width, but his instinct is to go forward, always. And that's fine when you're chasing a game or stretching a deep block. The problem comes against elite transition teams. Wrong timing on the overlap and the left centre-back is suddenly exposed. A slow counterpress and Madrid are defending with their backline retreating toward their own goal. Alvaro Carras has the profile, the size, the modern attributes, but there's a difference between being talented and being ready to manage Champions League defensive spacing. Young fullbacks can survive games where their team dominates the ball. The test comes when the match turns unstable. A winger who can carry, a striker who pins the centre-back, a midfielder who releases the early ball into the channel. That's where promise runs out of road. Madrid needed control, and control is the word that explains everything about this signing. Marc Cucurella is not the tallest, the quickest, or the most glamorous left-back on the market. He's not giving you Marcelo-era magic in the final third, and Mourinho genuinely does not care. What Cucurella gives you is defensive aggression with tactical discipline, and there's a big difference between a defender who runs around a lot and one who knows exactly when to attack the ball. His game is built on that difference. He presses with timing. He gets tight before the winger can turn. He uses his body shape to force opponents backward without always needing to win the ball cleanly. Sometimes just killing the rhythm of an attack and letting the defensive block reset is enough. Those moments never go viral. They just win football matches. The foundation was laid at La Masia. Barcelona's academy doesn't just teach passing, it teaches spatial awareness, timing, angles, and positional relationships. Cucurella never made it as a Barcelona regular, but that education never left him. Then came Eibar, where the football was direct and demanding. Then Getafe, where he learned physical duels and genuine defensive suffering. Then Brighton under Graham Potter, where it all came together. That Brighton period shaped the player Madrid are signing. Under Potter, Cucurella wasn't just operating on the touchline. He played as a wing-back, as a deeper left-sided defender, as part of a back three. He learned to defend wide, step into midfield zones, and cover central spaces based on how the team shifted. That flexibility is exactly what a Mourinho system needs, a fullback who isn't locked into one role. At Chelsea, the environment was turbulent, but his numbers told a consistent story. In the 2025-26 Premier League season, 34 appearances, 2,710 minutes, 1 goal, 4 assists, 88% pass completion, 55 tackles, 32 interceptions, 120 duels won. That's not a luxury fullback, that's someone doing the unglamorous work of defending, recovering, and reconnecting play every single week. Very Mourinho. Look at his best teams. Ashley Cole at Chelsea wasn't just an attacking fullback, he was a world-class defender who could handle elite wingers. Arbeloa at Real Madrid was never spectacular, but he gave Mourinho discipline and defensive balance. At Inter, the wide defenders were built around control first, freedom second. The pattern is always the same. Mourinho doesn't ask his fullbacks to entertain, he asks them to protect the team. And in this Madrid side, that matters even more because of Vini. Vini is at his most dangerous with space to isolate defenders one-on-one. A left-back constantly overlapping outside him crowds the flank. One sitting too deep disconnects him from the attack. Madrid needs someone who understands the middle ground, someone who can support, combine, underlap, recycle possession, and still be ready to defend the counter the instant the ball is lost. Cucurella gives Mourinho exactly that. He can hold a narrower position in the build-up, create an extra passing lane, step into the half space without getting in Vini's way, and when the attack breaks down, close the first pass or force the opponent wide before the damage is done. Not spectacular, but winning. Most fans will see the hair, the tackles, the intensity, and the passion. Managers see positioning, anticipation, body shape, and control. And Mourinho, more than almost anyone in football, has built his entire career on finding the players who make a team harder to hurt. So the question was never why Real Madrid signed a left-back. The real question is why Mourinho chose Cucurella over every other left-back linked with the club, because there was one match that probably told him more than any scouting report ever could have.
Premier League wingers already know Cucurella is not a comfortable afternoon out. Ask any wide player who's faced him in England. Explosive runners, touchline dribblers, inside forwards, transition threats. His defending is uncomfortable because he doesn't sit back and wait to be attacked. He gets tight early, closes the angle before you